Yeah, speaking of things that Biden could have done but didn't, we will abandon you if war continues, Trump tells Israel. Is it? Is this it? Is this MAGA bliss? Am I feeling it? National euphoria? Outflanked, an anonymous source told the Washington Post on Monday, Trump has been letting Israel know, quote, we will abandon you if you do not end this war, the source said, speaking of the condition of anonymity, of course. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs said that Israel approached it due to it to resume limited aid delivery, and that logistical discussions were ongoing due to the rapidly changing situation on the ground. Basically, it's the same story as it's been for a long time now. Israel's bombing, hundreds of people are dying every day, also mass starvation. The UN is begging Israel to let aid through. Israel says no. You know, it's all pretty standard affair for Israel. It's just standard Nazi Germany shit. I think, was it Ben Gvir, or who was it in their war cabinet who was essentially openly saying that the only reason, oh yeah, here we go. Oh, Smotrich, that's the one. Gaza aid is just enough to avoid war crimes charges while we annihilate the strip. Yeah, in this speech, he essentially says, like, the only reason because he's trying to assuage the people who are upset that any aid is going through. Because they're being, like, pressured to let some aid in. And he's like, guys, I know the plan is still to kill all of them, but we need to do this to avoid war crimes charges, which, I mean, we'll see how well that works, I suppose. On aid, Smotrich said only the care minimum will be allowed. The purpose, he admitted, is not relief but optics. It allows the world to continue providing us with international protection. We are annihilating everything that remains in the strip simply because it is one big city of terror, etc., etc. So is Trump just bored? What's the game plan? Look, our support for Israel in the capacity that we've supported them has been irrational for a long time. We have deep MIC and social ties to Israel because we've invested heavily in them. But they've been a rogue state for a while, and they've acted detrimentally to our broader geopolitical goals. The only reason the American politicians and a lot of European politicians continue to stick with them in the way they have is because of essentially peer pressure. It's not just the MIC, right? The MIC is the ground of it, but how do you justify continued support for Israel that's mostly just a cynical, like, leveraging against Iran plus selling them weapons sort of game, right? Well, you have to do the whole disingenuous everyone who's anti-Israel is anti-Semitic game. And once you set that up in motion, it's pretty difficult for every politician in the world to just go like, oh, never mind, we did a cost-benefit analysis and Israel's actually crazy, we're not associating with them anymore. It's pretty tough to do that like that, you know? So you don't have like like everyone just rationally following a spreadsheet and what makes the most money or anything like that. You have this messy, disorganized bullshit, you know, with lies in every direction being thrown around. It's complicated, but the underlying reason is it's an equation that hasn't been assessed and recalculated for a long time, and Trump just doesn't know math. His head no work, so he doesn't really care, you know. Yeah, there has been UK, France, and Canada issued a joint statement condemning Israel's wholly disproportionate escalation in Gaza. Israel has escalated massively lately. There was a long period where the strikes and the resettlements were slowing down, but over the past couple of weeks they've gone up, and they've been like annihilating the already annihilated strip more and more and more. Netanyahu in panic mode? Well, Netanyahu is in the very difficult and unenviable position of having to juggle three main groups, right? You have evil but nonetheless competent civic nationalist types in Israel who basically just want to hold on to power. You have lunatic, Nazi-esque ethno-nationalists who want the complete eradication of the Palestinian population. And you have a very dissatisfied population who feel under threat, and feel as though Netanyahu has conducted the war poorly. Not, mind you, that many of them object to the war on moral grounds. More, you know, they just don't like how things have developed. He's just unpopular. So Netanyahu, I mean, there's pressure from all sides here, but in order to maintain this coalition, the war has to continue. If the war ever stopped, Netanyahu's out. Which is why he was so keen on beginning a war with Iran. Why was I linked this in the form of a Twitter post? This is a joint statement from major Western nations. Did they just tweet it? I'm sure there's a slightly more official format for this information. You know, did they tweet this in Netanyahu? If you want the official Canadian one, I do actually. It makes it look a little bit more official than just reading a quoted, you know, a quote tweet from Twitter. Anyway, Trump doesn't really care much about the pre-existing relationships that this country has, as evidenced by the way he treats every country on earth. So it makes sense that he would also be pretty aggressive towards Israel. It has nothing to do with Palestinian lives. It just has to do with the fact that Israel is obnoxious. Netanyahu's obnoxious. They're annoying. Biden wouldn't have done this, for sure. Netanyahu said on Monday that Israel would launch an alternative U.S.-backed humanitarian aid mechanism in the coming days on the recommendation of the IDF and out of the operational need to enable the expanse of the intense fighting to defeat Hamas. Of course, Israel will introduce a basic amount of food to the population to ensure that a famine crisis does not develop in the Gaza Strip. Such crisis would jeopardize the continuation of the Gideon Chariots operation to defeat Hamas. Of course. Have you seen Mike Lee wants to do a national porn ban? I will ban the next... You know what I'll nationally ban? The next person who tells me what Mike Lee tweeted about. Go run through a list of everything Mike Lee has ever tweeted that he wants, okay? You might as well be giving me, like, anonymous... You might as well be giving me N-wokeness tweets, okay? It's Mike Lee. I know that's not what's being depicted in this shot, but the juxtaposition of Netanyahu says allies pressured him to allow basic aid into Gaza, and the kid sitting here, like, slumped forward like this... It just looks like it's Netanyahu sitting on the stoop and he's all like bummed out. Like, man, they're making me give him food. Do you think Trump's visit to the Gulf states changes alignment on Israel? I don't think Trump really has an alignment. I just think I think he has people that he likes and dislikes, you know? And the truth is, just from a pure utilitarian perspective, America stands to benefit way more from a strong long-term partnership with the Gulf states than they do with Israel, you know? For one, in terms of an MIC playground, we have Ukraine. For two, Israel's a rogue state that compromises our interests. God only knows how much money we've lost on account of the global disruption Israel has caused, the weakening of the Western hegemon. It's just not good math. Also, when when Trump meets with Netanyahu, he probably takes note of the fact that Netanyahu's like pushy and annoying, which again, that's the opinion of many U.S. presidents. Whereas when he meets with Gulf state leaders, they're like, Habibi, do you want a plane? And Trump says yes, and then the press gets mad about it, but he gets the plane anyway. Israel also leaks all of our military secrets. Yes, that is true. They are like a hostile state to us, more or less. So, but that's not part of Trump's equation. That doesn't matter to him at all. The Saudis do have more money than Israel to pull around with that gigantic sovereign state fund of theirs. Does the Trump administration approve of Trump wanting to stop Israel? I'm not sure. Probably some parts of it, yeah. I mean, again, a lot of American politicians have probably been looking for an excuse to change their tone. And since the Republicans are a cult, Trump changing his tone is like the perfect excuse, right? They can just follow along with him and have no culpability themselves. Unfortunately, this is going to be a difficult subject to discuss for a long time because the people who are happiest about this are going to be Trump-aligned neo-Nazis. It is objectively a good thing that Trump, for whatever his reasons are, is pulling away from Israel. I don't know what effect this is going to have on the genocide in the long run, right? If the United States is pressuring aid to come into Israel, right, we're not just removing ourselves from the situation. We're not just taking our hands back. My guess is that Trump wants a big win, you know? Trump wants to take credit for ending the war, which he did say he'd do. He's probably insistent on ending the Gaza war because he couldn't get an easy win with Ukraine. Probably. That probably does, kind of push him forward a little bit. He wants credit for something. I don't know. It will be an embarrassment that will last. This is the kind of embarrassment that's going to outlast, in all likelihood, the Democratic Party. If Trump actually does end up, through whatever reason, producing some kind of humanitarian compromise long-term by distancing himself or threatening Israel, it will be for one, it's going to be really frustrating for me personally, because then liberals are going to work so hard to make anti-Israelism a right-coded thing, as if Republicans haven't been the most fanatically pro-Israel over the past few decades. But it's going to be such a black mark on the Democrats that they were so cowardly that this obvious pariah state, this rogue state, it's not like the Democrats didn't know what was going on over there. They all knew it was a genocide. They were all aware of the fact that Netanyahu and his cabinet of warmongers were fascist freaks. They know this. It's not a secret. Everyone knows it. But they felt so hamstrung by convention on this, by convention and by inertia, they did nothing about it. And then Trump, who cares neither for convention or inertia, just changes it. And it would be a rare Trump change for the better. Now, will that actually happen? I don't know. Trump performatively threatening Israel is not, mind you, actually an end to this conflict. I mean, it could just be dragging it out, right? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Do we have any good news? Technically, this is good news, but it's lukewarm news. It's funny. Trump doesn't like the fact that Israel broke the ceasefire he negotiated at the start of the year. That's true. That's probably true, yeah. Like with Putin, he probably thought stupidly that they would act in a little bit better faith.